What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muscle. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that I know a lot of you have been wondering, and that question is, how much did I pay for this car when I first bought it, and how much did it cost me overall to get the car into the running, driving, completely finished state that it's in today? Let's go ahead and jump in. So initially when I was looking to buy this car, I was going to look for something on Copart, but I had found initially an Audi R8 on a different website called SCA Auctions. It's another insurance auction website, and they had a really cheap sign-up fee, really cheap membership fee to bid on anything that you wanted. So I had signed up for that, but unfortunately the R8 had gone for a lot more money than I had anticipated to spend on a project rebuild like this car. So being that I had already purchased the membership and already gone through all of this, I just kept looking around for different cars, and eventually this 2013 Audi RS5 popped up, and the damage didn't seem too terrible. It actually seemed like it was in pretty decent shape. So I ended up bidding on the car, winning it, and the bidding ended at $13,700 is what, again, the final bid was. However, I'm new to all this stuff, so I guess I didn't realize all of the fees that play into this. I didn't buy the car for $13,700. That's what I won it for. So out the door, after all of the fees and buying it from this website, I ended up paying $14,500 after the fees from the website. Now, there is an additional transaction fee, documentation, and shipping that I had to pay for. So that transaction fee and documentation was $305. Shipping ended up being another $1,200 on top of that, since the car is being shipped from Washington to Michigan. So all said and done, once I had the car in my hands, I had already paid about $16,000 in total just to get the car to a point where I could even start looking at it and evaluating the damage. So that being said, that's another $2,300 that I hadn't necessarily anticipated on having to pay on top of the $13,700 initial purchase price of the car. Now, once I had the car in my hands, the initial damage was pretty glaringly obvious. I hadn't known about the frame yet, but I did know that it was going to need a radiator core support, an impact bar, and all of the supporting pieces. And I had assumed at this point that probably the hood and fenders could be repaired. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, so I had to purchase those. Front impact bar and those supporting components for that were $100 each, roughly, which count to another $300 for the impact bar and those components. So at this point, I had been doing pretty well as far as costs go on the car. The most expensive part that I had purchased up until this moment was going to be the radiator core support, which I purchased for $477 from the Audi dealership. Now, I did end up having to buy another headlight too, because the one on the passenger side was pretty cracked and the whole casing was it was exploded. So I found one of those on eBay for $330, and being that I'm not an experienced Audi guy, this car is equipped with AFS. The headlight that I bought supposedly had AFS, but I wasn't quite sure what to look for, and the car was a million pieces, so I didn't really set it up to even test that it worked. When I got the car put back together and installed the headlight, it turns out it was a non-AFS headlight. That's why I was having the problem on my dashboard with the AFS, air. So I had to buy a new headlight that cost me $400 instead. I was able to sell the other one, so it wasn't a huge difference. Now, the next thing that I had to buy for the car was getting the frame damage straightened. Now, there wasn't a ton of damage, so it was pretty easy to bend the frame back straight, and I was able to have a local shop do this for $700, which I thought was a pretty good deal relative to what other shops were charging, and it came out perfect. Everything lined up amazing. It looks really good. So there were a lot of supporting components I had to buy for the car that there's too many to even list out, such as, little mounting pieces for the headlights. Let's see. Coolant return hoses. I bought some extra belly pan bolts and miscellaneous bolts here and there. A hood latch. I had to buy a horn. Paint ended up being, or I should say, could have been very expensive, but I was able to do it relatively cheaply. It cost me $750 for all of the paint supplies and materials, and then another $400 of labor to have somebody paint it. I had a cracked grill in the front of the car from the accident that I had to get replaced, and that ended up costing me another $100 to buy it used from somebody else. But the grill was luckily, I say it was used, it was actually pretty much brand new. They had hardly used it, so I got a pretty good deal on that. I purchased the hood and both fenders for $500 a piece, or $1,500 total. But throughout this build, I wasn't able to get any type of crazy discounts on anything while I was building it, other than maybe the paint and labor to do this. The labor especially because I did everything myself. So I saved a ton on that. And then some of the parts I was able to resell. Like I said, I bought a new hood and I bought new fenders as well. So my old hood and fenders weren't in that bad of shape, so I was able to sell those. I haven't sold the fenders yet, but I've sold the hood for another $350 I was able to recoup to put back into the project. I was also able to sell my old bumper, the old cracked, destroyed one, which I was very surprised. Someone paid $150 for it. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with it, but somebody bought that, and I was able to recoup costs from that as well. With some estimations, some rounding, that brings us to a grand total of $6,000 in just parts to get this car to where it is today. Now, luckily, I was very lucky. None of the airbags blew. Nothing inside this gorgeous interior was destroyed. It was in great shape. None of the suspension was bad. Everything was in very, very good shape. It was only cosmetics. I was able to source all of these parts relatively cheaply, I would say. That's why the project took me so long, is because I was shopping around for a lot of it. So with that grand total of $6,000 in just parts, some estimation included, that'll bring us to a grand total for the entire build of $22,000, roughly, not including registration or taxes or anything like that, which all in all, I think for this car is a pretty good price, because a lot of them with a similar rebuilt title, slightly more miles, were going for about, you know, anywhere from $26,000 to $30,000 depending on what state you were in. Specifically here in Michigan, I found one that had same color, did not have OEM wheels, higher mileage on it, had about 60,000 miles. Rebuilt title was selling for $28,000, $28,500 actually. So I think that being that I paid $22,000 for this one, it was a fairly good deal. However, if you do include my labor into everything that I did to get this car to the state that it's in, I lost a ton of money. If I hit, or I probably broke even, to be honest. To pay somebody to do all of this, I guarantee would have cost a lot more than another $6,000, and there wouldn't have been much money to be made on it, right? For all of the damage, all of the paint work, and not to mention if a shop did this, they'd be buying everything brand new. As where I was sourcing a lot of the parts, or as you guys saw, I was plastic welding a lot of things. I was able to fix a lot of things and really repair a lot of parts, in this case, the bumper, that would have been a lot more expensive to buy brand new if a shop was going to be fixing them. So with all of that being said, I think that I came out with a pretty good deal. This is my first time rebuilding a salvage car, and to save $6,000, I was able to get a really nice car. Again, for $22,000, I'm pretty happy with that. It does have a rebuilt title, but that's to be expected when you're rebuilding cars like this. So if any of you guys are wondering, the car will be for sale after this. So please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Michigan Muscle, or send me a comment on here with your email address and I'll find a way to reach out to you. And I'll be selling the car pretty cheaply because I'm ready to move on to my next build. And I think it'd be fun to continue this, you know, to continue a build series going. I can keep working my way up with builds, and we'll see where it goes from there. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this build series. If you did, be sure to smash that subscribe button, like the video. That way I know that you guys are seeing it and that you guys are actually enjoying the videos. If I don't get any reaction out of the video or any comment, then it's hard for me to tell if you guys are actually enjoying it or not, or if you're just watching it and clicking through it. So let me know how you feel about it. Shoot a comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully we'll see you in the next build. See you next time.